We're all ready. Alright, so we get some fluid out. The gear oil looks like it's been recently replaced. That's good news. Maybe. That's a chunk of something. That's not good news. Oh, we got chunks. What's going on, guys? Today we're fixing things. Unfortunately, after our last test session, we made one pass. It finally, we attempted to make one pass. We finally got it to launch off the brake, off the button, everything worked, and then we broke something.
Open the trunk, you know.
When I tried to get it off the trailer last night, it's getting jammed up. It might be broken in the rear. I'm not sure what exactly is broken yet, but I'm going to start by taking the pumpkin cover off the rear and seeing if maybe something's hung up in there in the gears, and that's what's stopping us from rolling this thing off the trailer. Right now, I just want to get the thing off the trailer, start diagnosing what we broke so we can figure out what needs to be fixed, go over the whole thing. You know, I know we probably scraped the oil pan, the trans pan, all that kind of stuff. So just give everything a nice good once over and figure out if anything else is damaged or anything needs to be tightened up. I think for now we're going to be done with big tire stuff. Last night was all the motivation I needed to go ahead and put the small tires on. I thought we would be okay testing it that way. Apparently not. So I think we're going to be done doing big tire stuff for a little while. It's time to get the smalls on there. So let's get to work, start getting this stuff figured out, and get it ready to get back on the road. We're all ready. Alright, so we get some fluid out. The gear oil looks like it's been recently replaced. That's good news. Maybe. That's a chunk of something. That's not good news. Oh, we got chunks. I don't know if you can see that, but oh yeah, destroyed the ring and pinion. Awesome times. Well, I think we figured out what broke. I can't believe that we broke that. But yeah, and that's why we're jammed up. That's why I won't move, because the ring and pinion is destroyed. Good times, good times. All right, so we're gonna see what we can do to get this fixed up, but I think we've got a problem first and foremost. See, I'm measuring outside of bracket to outside of bracket, 25.5 there. And that's for the ladder bar. Follow me over here. I've got the extra rear for the car, but outside of bracket to outside of bracket, we're at 23.25. So we are off a little bit. Too much of a bit for me to just toss it in and let the heim joints be bound up. We're gonna have to come up with a plan. We've got a couple issues with the Dana 60 now. One of the problems is that's not going to be a direct bolting. We can't just swap it out, put the other rear in its place, and call it a day. That's not going to work. The measurements don't line up. We've got a couple options. We could put that rear in, redo the front of the ladder bar mount. We can cut all that out, re-weld it in, do a new mount up there. I cannot take the gear set out of that one and throw it in this one. I personally cannot, because the Dana 60 requires a case spreader to physically spread the case to get the carrier and everything out. I don't have a case spreader. I've talked to somebody local who can fix the rear. They said it would be best if we had the rear completely out of the vehicle. One way or another, it sounds like this rear is coming out. Maybe possibly I could try to find somebody else to do it that would do it in the car. But we're going to be tearing some things apart. I'm kind of against putting the other rear in because seeing how well this setup worked, it's already working very well. We know that it's going to hook, it's going to plant the tire super well. We can obviously adjust the shock settings and everything, but if we start moving some of the bracketry around, if we change the geometry at all, anything, we're going to affect the way that it works. And this works really well the way it is right now. I kind of want to stay that direction. If we go ahead and pull this thing inside, drop the rear out of it, and I haven't even told you guys yet, the transmission bell housing is cracked. We've got to get the transmission out of it too. At bare minimum, I'm going to have to take the trans out, cut the bell housing off, get an aftermarket bell housing because it's just a stock case, it looks like. Get an aftermarket bell housing and put that back together if we don't find any other issues with the trans. What that means is it's going to be down for a little bit. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to bring the car in the garage, take the rear out, take the trans out, take everything out, and then have a stuck car in the garage in the space that we have to work. I want to be able to continue to work on other vehicles and other projects as they come up. We've got a ton of them, and I've got other stuff that we could be doing while we drop the rear off and wait for it to be fixed, or while we're waiting for the bell housing for the trans to come in, that kind of stuff. I'm gonna have to do a little bit of plotting and planning because my original plan was just gonna be, all right, let's just swap it out. I don't have a case spreader, I can't swap the gear sets out. We can just take the whole assembly, start swapping it out, getting that figured out, make it work. But now that we've measured, thankfully I measured before we started tearing things apart, it's not gonna work that way. So we got to come up with a little bit of a game plan and then go from there.
I know what you guys are thinking. How in the world did the Nova end up in the garage? Well, we did the driveway shuffle, we moved everything around. Camaro is back on the trailer. I wish I could tell you guys what's going on, but we're just not quite there yet. What I can tell you is, at this exact moment, we're going to have to order some parts. We're going over gear ratios, getting that figured out. We're going to order some parts for the rear of the Camaro. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to bring it in the garage, tear it into a million pieces, take the rear out, take the trans out, do all this stuff we got to do, and just let it sit here in pieces and stop us from doing anything else. I think the better option is going to be order the parts in and wait till they get in, so that way we can take the rear out once we have the gear set, the install kit, everything in hand. So we brought the Nova in. I don't know, maybe we'll try to get the Nova running. There's a race in 48 hours from now.
Sounds like a pretty good idea.
That sounds like a good idea. I can tell you we wouldn't win it. We don't make enough power, LS, on spray, everything else. But also having this thing run and drive is going to be helpful to us in the future as well. I guess let's get to it. Not looking forward to this.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Here, grab this other side of the hood. Let's even see what we're working with, how I left this thing. Hey.
Your boy is just crazy. I don't even know what's going on right now. 24 hours ago, I was doing street wheelies in the twin turbo Camaro. My brother's in town. He's filming. We want to go racing. I want to make content. This engine that we put together was supposed to be the turbo motor for this car. We're not going to run turbo on it right now just because I don't have the stuff. The Holly is on that car. You know, I did get more stuff to build the turbo kit and all that, but we wouldn't have enough time between now and Thursday. But what we do have time for is to cram this thing in there, go ahead and put the nitrous and the carb and all that stuff back on it, and we could be racing Thursday. The beautiful part about this is that I know this car. I know what it's going to do. I don't need a whole lot of testing. I'm really pretty confident in just taking this thing straight to the track, right off the trailer and going. But I think we do get test passes in the stock block shootout. So it's just for fun. You know what I mean? This is what we do. This is our life. And, you know, let's have some fun with it. I think it'll be helpful to have this thing running and driving. It's going to be. You guys will see why in a little bit. But we're going to go ahead. Joey's working on right now getting some of the parts and pieces, the motor mounts off of there. We're going to have to drain the oil, get the oil pan. We're going to need some stuff off of there, timing covers, everything to put on here. I've got some fresh gaskets. And this is the best motor I have as far as LS stuff goes. And was supposed to be the backup for that. Hopefully that thing lasts a long time. We've got other problems to fix. This can go back in there. We can eventually turbo it like it was originally intended. I don't know. At this point, we're just throwing stuff together to have fun and go racing. You know, why be sad and depressed that the car's broke when I've got another one that is almost completely ready to go and race? Let's go use it and have fun. Well, I'm teaching young Joey here. I'm really not teaching him shit. I'm just telling him unbolt this and unbolt that and bolt that on. But we're working on it. We have to do the rear timing cover because the LS have two different rear timing covers. I'll show you this one. Sometimes you'll fight it and sometimes you won't. But I fought it with the last motor that was in here. So they've got two rear timing covers. One has the indents like this that has the bolts, the head of the bolt a little further in, and then the other ones are just completely flat and the head of the bolts stick out. Sometimes the trans will catch that and it becomes a nightmare. So to alleviate that, I've got one of the timing covers that's recessed, and we're going to go ahead and put this timing cover on the rear. I've already measured the flex plate we're going to use, make sure that lines up with the converter, everything is good there. So we'll get the oil pan off this, throw it on that, then we'll get this on the engine hoist and get the rear timing cover and a flex plate on that. And then at that point, that thing should be ready to drop into place. And I think that's probably going to be it for probably tonight. So that way tomorrow we can come back, bolt everything up, start, you know, we'll obviously start some bell housing bolts, we'll start that kind of stuff to get this thing in place. But we'll get this thing in place tonight and then we'll call it a night. Tomorrow we'll come back out, start hooking everything up, getting it ready to get fired up again. And then tomorrow night we should be able to fire it up. Of course, the weather report has changed 16 times. It wasn't supposed to rain Thursday. Now it might. We don't know, but we're still going to keep pushing because I want to see this thing running again. It would be nice, you know, now that we've got, we're halfway there. It's not going to take us super long, another day's worth of work or so, and we'll have this thing in, running, and I'll have a running race car again. Not anywhere near as fast as the other one, but it'll still be fun time, everything. And then I've got some really cool plans. I got some ideas. You might see somebody other than me driving this thing. Not this week, but soon. You guys might see somebody else get behind the wheel of this thing and make some passes. So let me know in the comments who you think it's going to be. Things were going so well. We were getting ready to lift this thing up and then go ahead, swap the rear timing cover, flex plate, and the bolt broke off in the block. That's one of those important ones. That's the bell housing one. Which means we're not setting this motor in tonight. I'm probably in for a long evening. I can feel that coming. I should probably just go ahead and stick this one right back in there. We'll leave it the way it is because now I have to figure out how to either drill. Ooh, I have a welder now. Ooh. But it's iron block. I don't know. It happens like that. You're making great progress. Everything's going well. And one broken bolt stands between you and glory. With that being said, I think that's going to be it for today's video. Probably gonna, I'm gonna be spending some time working on this, trying to get this out. And I know the boys are tired, so sending them on home. I need to get something to eat too. I'm hungry. I need some more food. So probably gonna need to take a food break, get something to drink, calm down a minute because I'm gonna be scrolling with this broken bolt here, and that's gonna be, you know, just mentally trying, I'm sure. Sometimes you get lucky, they come out real easy, sometimes they don't. But that's going to be it for today. Then tomorrow, hopefully I will have this bolt out. Maybe I'll have everything set up by the time they get over here, or however it works out that we start dropping this thing in. Maybe I'll start dropping it in. It's just going to depend on how everything pans out. But we should be getting it in tomorrow. We're dangerously close, and then firing it up. Like I said, I don't need a lot of testing on this. Plus, we're going to get testing before the shootout Thursday anyway. So I'll go test before the shootout. If it feels good, I'll buy into the shootout. If it doesn't feel good, I won't. And we'll just test and tune. Maybe we'll grudge race somebody, whatever. But we're still not even sure about the weather yet. So it's been an eventful day. Broke the Camaro, figured that out. Didn't want to tear it all apart just because we have to. I got to order the parts. I'll order the parts tonight. We'll start getting stuff on the way to get it fixed. No sense in it just taking up the garage, us not being able to do anything. We might as well do something we can do while we're waiting for them parts to come in. Everybody's been asking me about the Nova. There you guys have it. It'll be back in action with the turbo motor that it's supposed to have, just no turbo yet. But once the motor's in, then maybe, you know, I got the turbo stuff, the other turbo stuff. Maybe we'll start screwing around and putting the turbo on it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But as always, you guys are the best. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you guys for all the comments, all the shares, the likes, the support, everything. Even the negative people. There's some people sitting at home right now just super mad watching this video. Just mad because I'm out there racing and they're just sitting on their couch. If you're one of those people and you keep making them negative comments, thank you too. Because at the end of the day, you're still watching the video. But I really like the positive comments more. Those are a lot more fun. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys next time, probably in another day or so. Hopefully, next video will be dropping this thing in, firing it up. Nova will be back to life. That's the game plan. Fingers crossed. Let's hope it works out that way.